Hey everybody, welcome back. We're here today with our second Cabral HouseCall. Each and every weekend, bringing you 2 shows answering our community's questions. Yesterday, hopefully you tuned in. We answered questions about microdosing and psilocybin and certain stacks that you may want to use if you're participating in those things. We talked about heavy weightlifting and potentially a link to IBS or intestinal permeability. We also spoke about exercising maybe too much and what happens to the body. Like what happens when you do a good thing too much? Spoke about that. And then also how to make swallowing pills easier, a look into that. And the last question was, because we answered a lot yesterday, we looked into and spoke about what to do if you have high levels of cortisol, but you still want to do an intermittent fast. So check out that show. That was episode 2640, StephenCabral.com/2640. And today, if you want to read along with the questions, head on over to StephenCabral.com/2641. All right, let's dive into it. Question today is from Daisy. Daisy says, I'd love to try the Equilife Detox program, but it contains foods I have a severe reaction to. Not sure if anything is sourced from corn because that is debilitating for weeks. If so, rice causes intense fatigue. I can't even keep my eyes open. Pea protein irritates my knees and gut, etc. How can I heal myself when the treatment would hurt intensely? It's a great question. Yeah, a great question. The start is actually with the gut. So if you haven't run the gut bundle, I can't recommend running that. That's basically 3 labs. Looks at food sensitivities, yeast and fungal-based overgrowth, bacterial overgrowth, H. pylori parasites. And then what we do is we go about rebalancing the body. Typically, we're using the CBO protocol with the CBO, with the citracidal drops if there's a lot, and then the CBO finisher to help basically seal everything back up. So it's a 12-week plan. It works really phenomenally. And then if you have parasites or other things, then we work on other protocols in order to rebalance that. That's where you start. So you start to then decrease all of these sensitivities. Daisy, I was where you were. It's been a while now. Luckily, I can say that. But from my teenage years all the way until my mid-20s, I used to get itchy eyes from everything. Really, like my eyes are still like my kryptonite. If anything starts to creep in there, I feel it in my eyes first. It's an early warning sign. Puffiness or itchiness or anything like that. It just lets me know, like, hey, you're moving off track here. What's going on? And so I just pull things back on, right? So, yeah, that's that. So that's really want to look at is that there's a histamine issue most likely. Again, I have to give you my disclaimer. No medical treatment plans, medical diagnosis, medical cures, or medical advice is given on the show of any kind. We look at the underlying root cause imbalances, which for you may be gut issues related to then histamine production, which then leads to all of the issues you're feeling right now. All right? So that's that. And no, we don't. Our products are not corn-based, so hopefully that helps. Luana's up next. Hello, Dr. Cabral. I hope you are doing well, and thank you for all you continue to give to the community you created. I would like, and I just want to state here, I think the community, I appreciate that, but the community really is its own living, thriving entity. And if you've been to CabralSupportGroup.com, yeah, my name might be in that URL, but honestly, 22,000 people from around the world, all helping each other, cheering each other on, asking questions, getting advice, giving answers. It's pretty amazing. So definitely check that out if you haven't already at CabralSupportGroup.com. All right, let's see here. I would like to know if you have an opinion on the new sleep staging beta setting on the Oura Ring. Do you know what it measures and why it is different than the original settings? My deep and REM numbers in beta are less than they are in the original setting. Do you have any new ideal sleep and REM numbers for us with the beta? Thank you, Luan or Luann. Yeah, I'm going to be coming out with that. So they're still in beta right now. And so I'm going to come out with the show and then they're going to finally tweak it to exactly what they want and then they're going to switch it, right? So it's out of alpha, it's in beta, and then eventually everybody will get it as the new one. And when it comes out, then I will give you, it's less for everybody. Don't feel bad, Luana. I've got 2 things, about Luan and Luana. So, but don't feel bad about it. It is for many people 10 to 20% less than what they're getting. So kind of with that in the back of your mind, understanding that the numbers don't change though. You still want 90 minutes of deep and 2 hours of REM. That doesn't change. The only thing that's changed is how Oura is actually tracking their numbers, because previous to beta, they were actually on the higher side. out of range on the higher side. So they had to move into this new thing they're calling beta because their numbers were a bit skewed on the higher side. Just like previously, their numbers for steps used to be on the higher side. And I actually think that they're a little bit on the lower side now. They kind of swung in the opposite direction. Not by a lot, by less than 10%, but I actually measure it with all different types of pedometers to check. So yeah, it's not that far off. I think what we're going to find is that there's a happy medium between Aura Beta right now and their current version. And I think that that's where we'll settle in, and that's going to be the true accurate numbers. All right. Audrey's up next. And by the way, they use that with the new Gen 3, and you'll see that there's specific green light, red lights in there, and it tracks movement, it tracks heat, all sorts of different biometrics. All right, Audrey's up next, and Audrey says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. What is the harm that could result in doing a bikini or physique competition? I've heard it could destroy your metabolism and other issues. Are there any benefits to doing one?" Okay, yeah, great questions. So here's the thing. The big benefits are learning that you can literally do almost anything with your body. Like that was one of the things that I looked at back when I was more into natural bodybuilding. I never competed, but in my early 20s, it was saying, okay, if my natural body type, right, my natural body type is, let's say, somewhere like it's 5'8", and somewhere between, like if I didn't work out, maybe I'd be like 155 pounds. But if I do work out, I'm like 165 to 170 pounds, like right in that range, right? But if I work out really hard and I eat a lot of protein and I try to build up my body, I could get this body, which is not meant to be 200 pounds, I could get it to 200 pounds, like with a lot of muscle. And so that was like a goal of mine. And that's a goal for a lot of people. It's like, what can I do with this body? And so what you learn though is the discipline that it takes in order to create that. So I've worked with so many bodybuilders, bikini, physique competitors, athletes in general, and the dieting takes so much discipline that it's a great tool that you can use for the rest of your life. The problem is that getting to sub 5% body fat, and for a lot of physique competitors, well, for men, it might be closer to like 3%. For women, it's definitely single digits, and that can absolutely affect your menstrual cycle. It can increase cortisol levels. It can decrease your thyroid. But there's an easy way to test. All you have to do is run an at-home lab test called the stress, mood, and metabolism. It will tell you exactly what is going on in your body and how hard you are pushing it. That's the truth. And that's the only way that anybody can know, because nobody can tell you otherwise how it's affecting your hormones if you don't actually measure those hormones with the lab test, the stress, mood, and metabolism. You can find that at stephencabral.com/labs. You'll be able to find that, all right? Or you can always run it with your local naturopathic doctor or integrative health practitioner level 2, okay? Becky's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I wanted your opinion on the teeth whitening system by Primal Life Organics that uses the red and blue light to whiten your teeth. They claim it will not damage the enamel and it will strengthen teeth as well as whiten them. They use hydroxyapatite, I think that's how they pronounce it, PAP, olive oil, bentonite clay, and essential oils. Thanks. Okay, so I'm not against the actual ingredients you just labeled. I'm actually looking into right now the long-term effects of using this type of LED light on the teeth to whiten them. So I can't make a yay or nay recommendation on this. However, I am looking into it. And what I will do is I will do a Friday review podcast on it once I've found it to be legitimate, meaning like safe, I should say safe, because it does work, but I want to make sure that it's safe, because you don't want to end up with receding gums or wearing away the enamel on your teeth or weakening your teeth. That's not worth it, right? So that's why I haven't done any of them yet, but in the future, I'm not against it as long as it's safe and it's healthy, all right? So let me get back to you on that. Stay tuned for future Friday review podcasts. All right, let's get to Mallory's question. Hi, Dr. Cabral. I've been detoxing from mold and fungal overgrowth that was misdiagnosed as a child, and needless to say, it has been quite the journey. So far, my journey has included Herxheimer-type reactions with even just the smallest dose of a binder or antifungal. Do you have recommendations on how to limit Herx's? I went to a friend's house the other evening and she made a meal with a good deal of tapioca starch. Is it possible that this acted as a binder in my body? I seemed to detox very heavily for 3 days after. I also wanted to ask if you've heard of DNRS, Annie Hopper's neuroplasticity program. Have you seen chronically ill patients benefit from a program like this? Let's see. Thank you so much for all you do and your dedication to helping people get well. All right. So Mallory, great questions. I've actually done a podcast on dynamic neural retraining systems. And yes, I think it can be fantastic for many people, especially with anxiety, a lot of sensitivities, et cetera. So please, if you can't find the podcast at stephencabral.com/podcast, just write in to cabralsupportgroup.com. That's all. We'll find it for you. All right. All right, so let's go through a couple things here. When you're taking an antifungal or certain binders, you can also be reacting to histamines. It may actually not be a Herxheimer reaction. It could be a reaction to the herbs or to certain binders. If you haven't tried the New Mold Protocol by Equilife, I would definitely do that. And the Universal Binder by Equilife, those are lower histamine-based products. Whenever you're using herbs, it can never be no histamine. Whenever you're using binders, it can never be no histamine. But the more charcoal you use, the higher the histamines, and the more aged herbs you use, the higher the histamine reaction. Okay, next thing, tapioca starch. Tapioca starch is not digested by most people. It can create bloating and gas and all sorts of issues. It's difficult to break down. It gums up the intestines. Not a huge fan of tapioca starch. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, what else can help with the Herxheimer reactions? Sauna. Even if you can only do it for 5 or 10 minutes, a sauna or infrared sauna can be fantastic. A coffee enema can be fantastic, as well as a castor oil pack can be fantastic. For all of the ones that I recommend in terms of detox for saunas and castor oil packs and coffee enemas, just head on over to stephencabral.com/resources. All of my favorite companies are listed there that I've used myself, that I use in my practice, all right? All of those should help. So keep on keeping on. You'll get there. There's no doubt about it. And of course, just remember that you have all the integrative health practitioners to reach out to if you want help. You can reach out to our team at Equilife. You can find a local naturopathic doctor, somebody that's really qualified to help you with these. All right, let's do one more last question. Lydia is up. Lydia says, hello, I drink approximately 4 to 5 liters of water a day. For everyone out there in the US, that is about 1.5 gallons of water a day. So it's quite a lot of water. I enjoy hot water much more than cold and or room temperature water. Therefore, I tend to boil the majority of my water intake in a stainless steel kettle. Can this much boiled water contribute to the amount of aluminum found in my hair and mineral test? Thank you in advance. It is possible, but not necessarily because of the stainless steel kettle, because it may not contain aluminum. But water, if not filtered properly, or if it's just from your tap, should and will contain quite a high amount of aluminum. So there is that, yes, and you're drinking a lot of water. It is very possible. Again, I can't give you any medical advice, medical treatment plans, medical cures, or medical diagnosis. I don't know why. I would look as to why you're drinking 1.5 gallons of water a day, especially if you're under like 200 pounds, because that's a lot of water. So, because what happens is like a lot of a good thing is not always better. That much water can flush out a lot of the minerals. It can weaken your stomach acid and digestion, and add just a lot of fluid to the intestines and a lot of work for the kidneys as well. So most people, again, I'm not telling you how much water to drink, but most people don't need more than 2 to 3 liters of water a day. And that can include herbal teas, smoothies, fruit, etc., which are obviously majority water. So let's just look into that. Again, I can't give you exact advice, of course, but certainly it could be raising your levels of aluminum. There's no doubt about that. And so I would look into that. But if you're already starting out with that much water, you're already doing well in terms of overall health, we may just want to cut it back a little bit and also look at the source of the water, all right? So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you so much, Lydia, for writing in. Thank you, everybody, for writing in today and being a part of this Cabral Concept community. I appreciate you, and I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new week of the Cabral Concept. Don't miss it. Thanks so much for tuning into today's show. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I want to make sure that you're getting our daily content, not missing out on anything. Functional medicine, wellness, weight gain, weight loss, anti-aging, living longer, stronger, and all of the most cutting-edge research. And if there's any topics you want to hear, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Take care.